Hello, race fans, and welcome to the Upstate Racing League Hot Lap presented by the Kingsport Tire and Auto Care Center. I'm here today with a driver of the VTFantasyRacing.com Arts Barbershop, number 18 of AJ Hamill, the Atomic Sign Works, car number 97 of John Ada, and last week's feature event winner, Nicholas Rasmussen, car number 71. Good evening, guys.
Good
Well,
evening. This is night.
don't everyone jump in to say hello to Al at once.
As we just got done, we're out of the state of Florida, and we are on our way up to Georgia to go to the Lanier International Raceway. But we have last week's race to discuss, and it was quite the wild one as far as the yellow flag flying. I think the pace car may have beat everybody last week, but it was quite an eventful race. We have the race winner, Nicholas Rasmussen, as I said, that stayed. Uh, Ended up coming up from the back to the front and winning, and he got the pole award. So, Nick, congratulations on your win.
Well, thank you very much.
It was an eventful race for almost everybody. We had the first caution early on in the race, and the strategy didn't play out too well for me as I decided to come in, take my fuel that I knew I was going to need so I could make it on fuel, and that kind of backfired on me, and I came home with a 15th place finish. Johnny, you ran pretty well again. You started 16th, ended up third, had a semi-eventful race. Talk about the race.
Well, let's see. I seem to qualify 16th every week, which is fine. I've come to terms with that. You know, I need to find out a way to bust off a fast lap like you guys can. You guys are speed demons, especially that number 71 up there, getting poles and winning races. You know, everybody strives to be like him. But we'll start with the first caution. I had a front row seat to the bottom of the 24 of Odo's car, and somehow I was able to lock her down and, you know, pull an e-brake stunt and just get around him there. After that all unfolded, it seemed to settle in for me. I just got into the rhythm of running those laps and just kind of became one of those, you know, blur kind of runs, few cautions. I don't know if it was in the 20s there, a caution come out. I decided to come in, grab two tires. Hadn't practiced any scenario, so wasn't sure if two tires was a good idea or saving the four, but I decided to go with two, fill up with, I think I put 8 gallons of fuel in it, and then just kept clutching her on all the cautions that we ran, got somewhat towards the front, and restarts, you know, I worked good with the restarts no matter if I was on the top or bottom. Shuffled back again to the rear again. At one point I restarted. Wall was way back there.
It definitely was an interesting race and a lot of comers and goers. Hamill,
Side down cars.
Sorry there, Johnny. Excuse you.
Oh no, that's I didn't know if I was boring you or if I had miraculously stopped talking somehow, and you didn't know what I was saying.
A little bit of dead air there for 10 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's we'll blame it on the connection. It looks like the server we're on now is taking some lessons from the server we were on racing on Thursday night.
This is very true. Hamill, you had a kind of an eventful night. Qualified 6th, and you came home in the 12th spot. It was quite interesting. A lot of, like Johnny was saying, a lot of server issues with net codes and stuff like that. The racing was a lot more intense than I thought it would be starting the night. So it was overall, you come home with you managed to come home with a 12th place finish. Not the finish where you were running, because you definitely were up inside the top 5 for a majority of the race until later on in the event. But overall, it was not a horrible night for your team.
I guess you could call it definitely disappointing number in the finish column. To be able to get my best qualifying spot of the year, starting spot, and I actually left some out there because I made an adjustment I shouldn't have and almost wiped out going into turn 3 on the warm-up lap. and then I got to pass CJ under green. That's a career highlight right there because he's top level driver. And LSR said I was fast, so that's pretty cool. I've never had that happen. Um,
Well, I mean,
but
there was some discretion going on in the booth. I mean, Evan wasn't there to kind of
they
lead
did
the
get
guys
confused.
around,
They did get
so they could have
confused.
been confused about the name, the number getting mixed up there, Hamill.
That's true. They probably thought I was you.
No, 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 I wouldn't go that far.
Well, things got mixed up when I put in the fuel I knew I needed. Although that didn't turn out to be the nail in the coffin. That was when the tires went on, got back in the mess, and for the third week in a row, I ended up staring at the inside wall. And it turns out at the end, I found out it was the back end that was destroyed, not the front end. But all I could do was limp around, and the yellows and a couple wrecks saved me for 12th. But pretty happy with how quick the car was, at least. I'll take that away from it.
And you gained some points inside above the cutoff point for the chase so far. Only 4 races in, and the one driver that's been fast all year long is the driver that's sitting to my right, Nick. And Nick, you qualified first. You were up front for a while. Then you got spun out. You went to the rear, and you came back up through using a little bit of strategy and grabbed the first win of the season for yourself.
Oh yeah, I think it was sure an eventful race. I mean, we've been working on qualifying runs because that's been kind of a weak spot. So it's kind of satisfying to actually see that pay out. The start of the race, well, I guess I got caught sleeping there because I actually lost the lead. And then decided just to see where the race was going because there's a long way to go, and we knew that we were gonna need to stop for fuel regardless. So after the incident on lap 44, I went to the back of the field, tried to stay out with the tires I got spun on, but they were cooked. So the team decided to take me in for 4 tires. A smart call. It was a bit earlier than what I would have liked. However, that really paid out because I was able to then just run laps behind at the back of the field and save the tires as much as possible. And once everybody else pitted, the track position, it basically got back to me again, which allowed me to take the lead late in the race. And then, yeah, luckily I had some tires left at the end, and that gave me the win. So, yeah, an eventful race for sure. And I guess the lesson here is that you should never give up because anything can happen, and it sure did at that race.
Hey, I would love for you to share with me that notebook that you've been making about qualifying better, because I would really love to start higher than 16th every week.
And we could post it on the website.
We could, but then everybody else would see it, and I would lose my advantage.
I'm thinking that I would just
He's
like
on to you,
access
Johnny.
to it only. Just me. Just access for me.
Just you? All right. Well, we can figure that out.
Oh, but anyway, guys, it was an eventful race. One that was very frustrating from an admin side of things, and wishing the server was a little bit better. And I hopefully this coming week is much better. But looking at the results of the NHR 125 from USA Speedway, it was Nicholas Rasmussen who picked up the win. John Ada finished in second, followed by Justin Fuller, J.D. Callahan, and Brian Rogers rounding out the top 5. Dan Dubuque would finish in the 6th spot, followed by Justin McDuff, Dylan Gaudet, Alex Oriens, and Stefan Marinak rounding out the top 10. And as you see the rest of the results on your screen, any names that kind of stick out? One that I'm looking at is Brandon Odo, who has gotten off to a horrible start this season.
Let's go ahead and talk about Odo in just 1 minute. I want to throw a shout out to my main man Danny, as they call him on the broadcast, Dubeck, our own Dan Dubuque, with a wonderful top 10 run right there. I had a blast racing with him. Great to see him running fast, and his car makes me a little hungry while I'm racing against him because those Sonic French fries look delicious.
They do, and they add about 5 pounds every lap you're behind them.
That's right. That's why we got to get by him quick. But there's nothing I could do this week. He was just fast.
He was definitely quick. Another driver that had a good run this week was Alex Oriens, with posting his first top 10 of the season. Or if you remember the first 3 races of the season, I don't think he completed more than 20 laps of a race because of getting caught up in trouble. So he had a decent run, but the 9 Siza Autosport Rookie of the Race belonged to JD Callahan. So JD with a top 5 this race. So a little bit of a mix-up. Our driver leading the rookie standings going into the race was Guillaume Fortin, and he had a horrible race, finishing in the 26th position. So that'll shake up the rookie points headed into Lanier. But as I look at there, I see, a few drivers that kind of are surprised me a little bit, but the top 10 has pretty much been the top 10 that we've seen all season, and some guys had some struggles at USA. So I don't know. Looking at the points right now, it's Nicholas Rasmussen. Nick, how's the top of the points? Is you're tied with Justin Fuller. The bonus points is where the tie is really made up. So Justin and Nick are up on the top of the pylon for the tents of Champlain point standings. Stefan Marinak is sitting in third. Jason Stenney, Brian Rogers, Dale O'Neill, A.J. Hamill, Al Smith Jr., John Ada, Dylan Gaudette, Brandon Odo, and C.J. Levere, the last driver in if the chase was to start tomorrow. And as we look a little bit below there, some drivers down there, Dan Dubuque, J.D. Callahan, Guillaume Fortin, Justin McDuff, just some of the names that are down there that are on the outside looking in, but it's going to be tough to make this chase.
You got 7 races to go, right? Is that right?
Yep,
for the
7.
chase? All right.
Yep.
And the one thing that jumps out is there is a dividing line, not just literally on the screen between 12th and 13th, but between 15th and 16th, there is a 15-point gap, which of course is not something you can't overcome, but it stands out as currently a 15-man for 12 position affair going on.
Yeah, and you have some races like we had last week. That whole scenario, like you just said, can change. As it's about one race distance between 12th and 25th in the points. So it's really still open, but the time to get it done is definitely closing in. So I like that point you just made there.
Also, you had told me the bonus points for the tiebreaker. I would have programmed that into the page. So I'm going to do that now while you keep talking.
The tiebreaker, well, to get for the points or whatever would be there. But yeah. But as we look forward to this coming race, we're at the Lanier Speedway, a tight little bull ring in Georgia. And this week is kind of unique. It's going to be the first time that we are going to have a B main with a 25 car starting field, no tires in the pits, and it's the Kingsport Tire and Auto Center 125 at the Lanier Raceplex. And the top 18 in time trials will get locked in. Everybody else is going to go run the B main. We're going to start 25 cars. Nobody's safe except for post-season champions. So Justin Fuller and Brandon Odo both can take a provisional if needed. If not, that just locks in one other guy. But it's going to put the pressure on qualifying. Nick, what's going to be some of the keys to making sure you get a good lap at Lanier?
I mean, for me, it's just keeping my head cool and focus on what I need to do. It's been kind of like I maybe a little bit let the pressure get to me a little bit, focusing too much about the lap. Well, for me, it's just if I get the good practice in and feel comfortable at the track, I feel like I just need to get out there and then just do a lap without thinking too much about it, and the lap time will be there. Obviously, if you make a mistake, you're pretty much secured for having to going through that B main. So, I mean, we know that there are going to be some guys that are going to end up there. So it's going to be an interesting B main for sure. And you never know who's going to end up there because it can be easy to make a mistake. I mean, you just need to scrape the wall and you basically need to go through that B main.
And with the limited spots, John, as you said, you're about qualifying 16th, so that's only 2 spots to the good to lock yourself in on time. Does that add extra pressure to you that is on the outside looking in at some possibly at having to run that B main, or do
Oh,
you
Al
look at
calling a shot there.
or does running, if you are in the B main, will that be a benefit to some of the drivers to get a little extra track time?
Sure, I think the B main is fine and dandy. I think definitely it should be good racing. I mean, if you're only going to start 25 and 30, 31 show up, that's 5, 6 guys going home, and that makes that race
I think we lost him again,
What the
Hamill.
heck's going on up there up north?
pretty confident that I will. I'll continue my trend and qualify 16th, and I will be locked in. I'll call that shot.
All right, we're gonna hold it to you.
But if not,
You're
then the
taking it to
B main
Vegas.
is always fun.
Yeah. So definitely.
Hey, that's all right. I mean, my statistical brain can overpower all.
As I look at the track record for Lanier, it's held by C.J. Levere. He ran a 13.233 second lap time. So with the right conditions this coming Thursday, I think we should be able to see that time possibly go down. But it will definitely be an interesting qualifying session along with the B main, and then the B main setting the remaining lineup for the 125 lap contest at the Lanier, which is the Kingsport and Auto Care Center, 125. So, and there were no tires in there, Hamill. It's gonna be save your stuff because Lanier, you're constantly turning to the left, and I think whoever can save the tires the most will most likely end up moving up the most and potentially win this thing.